We're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about a lot of things. So I'm Yvette Griffin. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Director of Risk Management. And we've been planning a time for you all to come out and just tell us how things are going so that we can make adjustments as need be. Additionally, we just want to take the time to apologize for some of the things that you've been experiencing. We've been working diligently behind the scenes, trying to get many things corrected, and we know that those things have affected you. So we're really sorry about that, and we hope that you'll forgive us. We'll do better. So we're going to begin the conversation. We just want you to tell us, what have you been going through? What do you like? What you don't like? We just want to hear from you. Is there anybody that's willing to speak up first? All right. I know. Okay, so.
That's where I.
Okay.
It's confusing because, and then they've got my name wrong on some of the paperwork.
Really?
So.
Okay, so we'll make sure that we talk with you afterwards about getting your name or whatever corrected, okay? But let's talk about the billing, because that was really confusing. So we want to help you a little bit help you understand a little bit about what actually transpired. So for the December, we had that big kind of system thing. Do you remember that happened? Right, we were really impacted by that. So for the December bills, we were not able to take your payment as we normally would have. So I want to start with that. And as a result of that, you receive this bill and you're like, why am I receiving it? What is it for? What is it about? Is it for January? No, it was for December. And for the first time, we had to bill it in that way because we had a system glitch. And so we were just forced to send it out in that way. We could have did better in terms of the communication that we sent along with it. So when you received that bill in January, that was for December, unless you were a part of the fire pension, okay? Then we were working with WEX so that we could get what we were calling the welcome packet out to you. And we share with them that we're not concerned if payments don't come in when we think that they should. We just want to try to work with everyone to get this going. And so some bills went out, of course, telling you that you owed a certain amount of money that may not have been quite right. And so if you receive something like that, we want to talk to you about it. For the folks that are part of the fire pension who have historically been getting their amounts deducted directly from their pension checks, we're going to send a notification to you all because you also got an additional notification from WEX stating that you were well behind, and that's not the case. So we're working on all of those communications, but we'd love to talk to you afterwards to make sure that we get everything straight for you. Okay, thank you. I'll take him and then I'll take you, okay?
One of the biggest things that I had a problem with
Yes, sir.
was my address. For some reason, and I've lived in the house I'm in, I was in there 5 years before I retired from the city,
Okay.
and it's 1714. All the information that was given to everybody, including the people that give out the cards, was 1314.
Okay.
And there is no 1300 block of the street I live on.
Okay. So you haven't been getting some
I've got
communication?
all things straightened out now
Okay.
as of Monday. I think I went down and verified what they had, that type of thing.
Okay.
But I don't understand how that happened other than somebody may have mistyped it or something.
We did, and thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that. We may have mistyped it, or they may have mistyped it. Anytime you got folks touching things, it might.
That's why I was just bringing it up, because if other people have had a problem with addressing, they need to make sure they check on it, make sure it's squared away.
Absolutely. So what's going around right now is a pad, and we're asking you for your name and address because we want to be able to make sure that we have this stuff correct for you. We also want your email address if you have one, because we want to be able to communicate with you quickly. And so if we have that, I have it for some, not all. So we want to try to build that list too. So make sure you share that with us on that pad that's going around. Thank you for sharing that.
One thing, so as you ask a question, I know most of you, but please tell your name, give us your name when you ask the question, so that our note takers can, notate it, and so we can get back to you if you have a specific issue that we can address, okay?
They're going like that.
Yeah, you can give it to us now. But thank you, and for those who don't know, the gentleman that's standing beside me, he's currently the interim city manager right now, Richard Morton. So he's here to help us have this conversation. Thank you. I'm sorry, yes, ma'am?
I'm gonna stand up.
Okay.
We got the billing straightened out finally and figured it out. From a lot of calls, it was a lot of trouble, but we got it done. I got something downloaded, so I think we're square with that.
Okay.
And we're talking a lot to each other and helping each other, and that's how that happened mainly. We're just trying to put the pieces together, but now we think, okay, we're good. We got your card, we're getting it paid for, but now there's the issue between, I don't know if other people having Medicare being primary and this supplemental being secondary, you know, and so calling Blue Cross Blue Shield on our own and calling each other. So I got a person who said, give me your Medicare information, the Medicare information, and then we'll get it straightened out. And then I talked to my friend Eloise, and she said she got someone at Blue Cross Blue Shield that said, your employer needs to contact us. So in my opinion, you know, like if the systematic problem, I don't know if we're the only ones having that problem, if there's information that needs to be shared from the city of Odessa to Blue Cross Blue Shield to make that a smooth process, that would be helpful.
Thank you for sharing that. We're going to talk
I'm Cindy Brunson, I'm James Brunson's wife. I'm his secretary and doing all the.
Yeah, you do everything right, I know. Thank you so much, Cindy. So we're going to talk a lot about Medicare, and we do know you're not crazy. You're having this problem. We're aware of it. We've talked with Blue. We're trying to work through it, and hopefully we're going to be able to bring about some resolution for you really soon, but there is a problem, okay? So I want to introduce you to Kevin. Before he starts talking. Kevin is a principal with Gallagher, and we have been working closely with this group actually to introduce everything that we're doing. And so he's going to share with you what he has been working on too behind the scenes.
So apologies for a number of things, the WEX issue, the billing, but mainly Blue Cross. They coded anyone over age 65, unfortunately, as the group plan, Blue Cross being primary, which as wreaks havoc when you go to see a physician, you give your Medicare card, they call in and they say, well, no, that's not what system says, so things get denied. We are fixing that. We've been pushing Blue Cross to fix it, to set the coding correctly. What we are doing on a short-term interim basis, and we would like today, anybody that's had this problem, or maybe not even had this problem, we're gonna take your name, and then we need the social security number and then their Medicare number, correct, if you've got that with you. And then we'll get that manually. We can do it manually, but we're trying to do the whole system and it's just taking longer. So, but at least if we do it manually here in the next day or two, then you don't have the issue going forward. You get right information when you call Blue Cross. Your Medicare works the way it's supposed to, and then the Blue Cross retiree plan works the way it's supposed to. So apologies, it was not coded correctly. And so this has been, unfortunately, a little bit of a battle to get them to turn the ship and get it fixed, but they are fixing it. It's on them, and we're pushing very hard, so apologize for that. But if we get your name, you know, if you got your Medicare card with you with your number, we can get that to them, and then they can flip that switch manually. Yes, ma'am.
Apparently, mine has had issues loading my medical spending.
Oh, your FSA, flexible
on
spending?
this,
She
and
doesn't
it's,
have that.
Just going in process, it's not going any further than the process. It says having medical issues,
Yeah.
so I don't know what's going on.
Ms. Joanne, it's actually the same as what we've been describing. So it's what's been worked on, and we're definitely going to work on getting yours straightened, okay? So we'll make sure.
Your Medicare number today, and we'll get this straight. Oh, you do? Okay.
Okay, so we're going to make sure it gets straight. Hi.
I still don't have a bill for the insurance. The
For your life insurance? Okay, so what we want to do is, tell me your name, please.
Judy Clemens, Paula Clemens.
Okay.
She's
Paul
talking
and-
about the life insurance.
Paul and Judy Clements for the life insurance. We'll check into it and make sure that everything's correct there. Okay? Yes, ma'am?
I'm Paula Geisler, I'm Harold's wife, but we've already been having to go to the doctor and so forth, and we're on Medicare,
Yes, ma'am.
and when I called Blue Cross Blue Shield, I come to the same problem. They did not have Medicare as our primary and so forth. So I gave them all that information. I'm hoping that it's straight with them.
Well, if you gave it to them over the phone and gave you a Medicare number, it will be straight. I think the problem is, somebody else got, a different customer service rep that says, go to the employer. That's the problem we're running into, is poor customer service here, number one. Number two, they come to the system wrong. So if you did get a hold of somebody and told them that, and they entered it in, then you are okay. But, we still want to guarantee it, so I still would ask that you give us your information after the meeting, so we can.
Well,
Yes.
in the same respect, though, it's been taking the insurance out of our pension
Yes,
so far.
yes,
Okay, but I got a bill the other day saying I owe for 3 months.
yes,
That was a mistake.
yes. So that's, right, so that's what I was sharing with you earlier. I was trying to put it out there so you wouldn't say it out loud. But, yeah, so just so you know and you're confident that we received the payments, we, the city, received your premiums from the fire pension. So we know who has credit for the first 3 months, and so we are working with WEX for them to update their system. Now, WEX was going to send you all another notification. However, I pulled it. The reason I pulled it, I thought it would create more confusion. So you're going to get something from us directly within the next couple days. It'll go out, sharing with you just what I've said. We have your premiums, you're good, and the next premium that will come out of your paycheck with the pension plan, and then it stops effective May. And then you want to set up an ACH or make your payments directly.
Okay, but it is gonna come out this check.
I think it's supposed to come out this check, yes, ma'am.
And then, okay, and then we're on our own to either do,
You'll get a direct bill from WEX,
Yeah,
like all the other retirees.
Will we
The fire
get a-
pension will be May 1. It'll start-
but I will say, I don't want you to think that you're on your own. You're not. We're here to help you, so you can call us anytime. We may not be as responsive as you expect, but we're getting better. But if you're having problems understanding the information you've been receiving, or you just have questions, please call us. You don't have to call Blue. You don't have to call WEX. You can call us. We'll help you.
will we get a monthly bill?
No, the way the WEX does it is they send you like all the coupons in one envelope. So they won't necessarily bill you quarterly. They'll only then communicate with you if the payment is late. Does that make sense? So there's coupons, 12 coupons in the envelope that you receive, and then, so they won't be sending that to you monthly. But we can help you, okay? So don't feel like you're by yourself. You call us first. Hi. I don't know who was first, but
I'm Eloisa Corbell, Dickie Corbell's wife. So you said that the premiums are gonna be taken out of the pension for the first 4 months?
the premium has already been taken for January through March, and I think you have one more that they'll do the,
Since all this was all messed up, and we sent Rex 4 months, we paid for 4 months, so what's that gonna do?
we'll
We
need,
sent a check for 4 months.
so we'll need to take, we'll work with you to make sure that WEX credits what you've paid properly, okay? Because we already have your first 3 months.
Yeah, we paid twice though.
I know, so we'll have to make sure they get applied appropriately for different months after that. Or if that's not what you want, then we can try and request a refund from WEX. So let us work with you on that, okay? Because yours is a unique situation.
It will
Yes, sir?
If you're not one to mess with those coupons and writing a check, are we able to just set up bill pay?
Yes, you can set up what's called ACH, where they just draft right out of your bank account, or you can send a check. It's your choice. Yes, sir?
My name's Jordan Moore. I've got a question. The question I've got is I'm 62.
Yes, sir.
I've got a couple of years before I was getting Medicare.
Mhm.
Once I become Medicare, I understand from what y'all are saying that it's going to be primary.
Yes.
But my wife is less than 58, so she's not even going to be close to Medicare.
Yeah.
So is Blue Cross Blue Shield still going to be primary for her?
Yeah, so,
How's it going to work?
yeah, so I think you asked a great question. So you will be what's called a split family, right? So you'll go to Medicare because you're eligible for Medicare, so you'll go onto that plan, okay? And then your wife will remain on the plan that she's on. Now, if she's not working anywhere, if this is her only coverage, then we're going to be primary,
That's correct.
okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
That answers? Okay. Hi.
Hi, I'm Betty Robinson. I was on fire pension. And speaking of the billing, I called Wex Monday. They still didn't have any payment. But I looked on my account yesterday and it's paid. So apparently, I don't know if they got paid Tuesday or if they just updated.
It probably happened very recent. We're like talking to them constantly.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask another question. I came up to the office last week because I was not clear about the billing and I brought my check stubs and everything.
Mhm.
And then I said, well, I've been to 2 medical facilities since January. Neither one of them charged me a copay. And someone in your office told me Medicare pays the copay. And that didn't sound right to me.
You just logic.
So I'm what?
Do you use logic? Do you have a Medicare supplement?
No.
Okay.
No, I have Medicare.
Did you go to MCH by chance?
Excuse me?
Did you go to MCH clinic by chance?
One of them was.
One of them
The
was?
other First Physicians.
That's why.
Okay, yeah.
But they told me.
But First Physicians is supposed to charge the copay now,
They didn't.
but,
They never have charged me a copay.
Well, they never did.
well, because we waived it over the past year when we closed the clinic, but going forward, they're supposed to charge the copay.
Church, nobody is.
Apparently they don't know it yet.
Yeah. So we'll take a look at it, though. We won't go try to find bills for you, but we'll try to make sure.
Probably gonna send me a bill for it, so.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's okay. Thank you. Hi.
Sharon Beard, Michael Beard's wife. I've noticed that, when we go to specialty doctors, that on your little Blue Cross Blue Shield card, there is a copay
Yes.
for that.
Yes.
Even though Medicare's primary, we noticed that our doctors are still collecting one of those copays itself. So,
Yeah.
I mean, are they putting Blue Cross as primary by taking that? Because before, you know, of course, we never had a copay through Medicare. or the
Right.
We were lucky. So, I
Right.
understand now there can be a copay.
There is a copay.
Right.
Only on the Blue Cross side, so.
Yeah.
That's again, that's back to this coding issue that Blue Cross has got going on and we're fixing. So if you can give us your information after the meeting, Medicare number, we'll get that updated system to where it'll correct itself.
I mean, we do tell them Medicare's primary, Blue Cross is secondary.
Yeah, I'm not sure
But
what happened.
when the office goes to
Call in.
call in,
That's the problem.
we don't know what.
No, they're being told that Blue Cross is primary, so that's why they
Yeah.
charge the copay. That's the mistake.
And we've
That's the-
paid several of those already.
Yes.
Everyone here, I'm Susan, by the way. Does everyone in here happen to have your Medicare card?
Yes.
Would you guys mind just passing it to the side and then I will, let me just start driving?
They're writing it on the,
Oh, you are right?
yeah, so if they have it, they're gonna write it on the No, that's fine. Yeah, but there's a document going around that you all can just jot it on.
All this information.
We don't wanna pass their social security
These
cards.
Medicare numbers and all this.
Yeah, but it still has a social
The
security
meeting
number.
that we had to begin with, back when.
I'm sorry, can you start again? I didn't hear you. Can you start again?
All the
Yeah, so although we may have had it for,
Blue Cross's fault for, they did not code the system and upload it.
yeah, and we had it, and we provided what we had.
That's where we're at right now, so apologies, but, that's why we unfortunately would like to get, before you leave, your Medicare number, so we can manually update the Blue Cross system, knowing that we still have a lot of work to do with them to get this fixed, so.
Yeah, so we provided the information we had, but as Kevin mentioned, some things didn't get updated in their system, and pretty much none of the post-65
But if
information
we've
got
actually-
uploaded.
If we've actually contacted Blue Cross Blue Shield or found out, you know,
Yeah, if they took it over the phone,
yeah,
and it's updated, then you're golden, but I would prefer that you still write it down.
yeah.
Let's check.
I did.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to make sure, we're actually doing the quality checks now.
I
Okay.
think the thing to take away from today is, you all have coverage, okay? The problem is, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand does, but you have coverage. So if you have a claim issue, we're gonna get it resolved. Everything's gonna get resolved. It's just going slower than we thought. So again, you have coverage, but we've gotta get you the system so that we can get Blue Cross to fix some things, so that when the physician calls in, they don't take a copay, they know they filed Medicare first.
Do you need to know on Medicare if we have both parts, A and B?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Thank you. So we have a few more minutes before we go into a presentation, but what other questions do you have? Yes, sir.
I've worked at Medical Center Hospital, so I have their insurance and Blue Cross. They're kind of different, who's gonna be the primary and the secondary.
Always when you're working, your employer is primary.
And
That-
then my name is wrong on mine, and the date of birth is wrong on a lot of such.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. We can easily fix that, so let us know. We can go into their system and fix it and print you new cards. Okay? We can take care of that. But you're working, your employer is always going to be primary. Okay. What other questions do you have? Some hard stuff now. That's what we're here for.
Any questions from anybody except Randy?
Oh, I forgot Randy was over there. I'll come back to you. Randy, did you have something?
Yeah, I had one thing on the coding for Blue Cross.
Yes.
Are y'all gonna, some of us hadn't, fortunate enough, not gonna would have to use that.
Uh-huh.
So when that's coded correctly, are you gonna inform us that it's been done, so we know that?
We can.
That issue?
We can.
That was probably,
Mhm.
you know, once they get it coded right.
Yeah.
That letter said, hey, we got it taken care of.
Yep, we can. And I want to say that I appreciate you all talking to each other. Like, that really helps us because, as I said, we don't have email addresses for everyone. So when I send it to the small population of people that I do, they forward it to others and they share the information with others. And I say, keep doing that because it's very helpful to make sure that we're getting the word out. So thank you for that. What other, oh, I'm sorry.
Troy again, I got a question. Talk about network and out of network. Is that a big deal now or not? Because me and my wife have moved to Brownwood.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
That's why we went to
Okay.
Blue Cross.
That's good.
That's the
To make
the
sure-
number one reason why we moved to Blue Cross.
Exactly.
I know we've got these system issues right now, which is, that's a mistake on them, but we bought their network. So that if you have an issue, you can travel to New York City and get it done and be in that. So, now, you've gotta go to an in-network provider in Brownwood, but I can guarantee you, most all of them take Blue Cross.
Yeah, I haven't had any problem. I'm just
Yep.
making sure there's not an issue.
Yep.
Good, thank you, yes. So that was one of the biggest things, the changes that we made in a good way was to remove the barriers to care. So the network is extremely robust.
And you need the effective date also,
Yes, ma'am, that'd be good.
because I noticed some haven't.
And if you're not comfortable writing it there, because we're passing that around, we're gonna be here right after so we can help you. There's another meeting at 3, but we can move into another space. What else do you have?
Other questions?
Yes, sir.
Pat Land, I'm retired from the fire department.
Hey, Pat, nice to see you.
Good to see you. I don't want to keep beating the dead horse, but I have a bill that was due
due March first.
Yes.
For January, February, and March premiums.
Yes.
And I called them and they said, yeah, it hadn't been paid, or I called that number on that invoice that I sent you, the email. I'm trying to keep you informed of
Yeah.
what I'm getting.
Yeah.
And so, I just need to know, because, they give you, I think they're giving us a grace period up till April the 12th, I believe.
Yeah, we're not allowing them to drop anyone to make any changes, so you don't have to be concerned about that.
So, just to be clear though, it's been paid.
Yes, it's been paid. The city actually received those premiums from the fire pension, as we normally have, like before 2025, the amount came to us. That's how it's still coming, because WEX couldn't seem to accommodate that process. So we have payments, I want to be clear, January, February, and March. We have them.
The city has it.
The city has them.
That money been now transferred to WEX.
Right, it'll stay with us. What we need for WEX to do is update their records.
Oh, okay.
Make
So
sense?
that's why it's
Wex
showing.
is just a collection.
And I understand, I don't understand why we're doing that, or why y'all would want to do that. Maybe it's easier.
It's just a tad bit easier for us to have someone kind of managing that process for us. And it's going to get better as we continue. I'm
Well,
sorry,
I've been
Richard.
reluctant to set up an account with them because, what I plan to do is go ahead and do the ACH
Okay.
payment, beginning for the May premiums, or, April premiums.
Nope, May.
May, it'll be for May. And so, like April deduction actually pays for May.
Right. Oh,
Well, that's what is April first, so.
So what they take in April covers May.
okay.
So to be clear for Pat and everybody else, you got a bill from WEX, don't pay it.
Okay.
Do not pay it, because we've already received payment for it, okay?
Okay.
Through the pension fund.
Yeah.
That's everybody that's involved in the fireman's pension fund. I'm not in the fireman's pension fund, but I'm a retiree too. So, we have already set up ACH, or actually, my secretary, my wife, has actually set that up for me. And so it's being withdrawn, from my account already, okay? I hadn't heard anybody ask this question, but several of you have asked me this question, so I'm gonna raise it and see if we can get an answer, or provide you with alternatives. For some of you, if you are making a monthly payment that's non-ACH, you may have seen a $20 bill or a charge. Anybody? Or heard of something? Okay. Well, what are the options for those folks?
So they're,
Talking about WEX payment, I just sent in $600 for 3 months.
But you're not part of the fireman's pension, are you?
Huh?
You're not part of the fireman's pension?
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Right,
Oh, okay,
right.
that,
You and me are different than all those fire
right, okay,
guys.
I missed it.
Well, and something else too.
I missed hearing that.
Just because somebody's in the fire pension doesn't necessarily mean that their medical premium, now Jill may be able to correct me on this, but some may not have their premiums paid to the city. They're paying them themselves. I think Deidre might be an example of that. If you're talking to her.
yeah.
So
yeah, but-
just because you hear somebody's in a fire pension doesn't necessarily mean that they're probably, their money's going to the city, which I'm sure.
Right. So the fire pension definitely is our current issue right now, because we have the money. We're trying to get them to get their records straight so they'll stop billing you incorrectly. And so we're going to have a notice that goes out. It's going to come from us. We'll explain everything to you in that notice. We're continuing to work with WEX for them to update their records. That's going to happen, okay? And as Richard just stated, I wouldn't pay anything until that's reflected in your account, that it shows that you've been paid, that you've paid up.
That may be why they're not seeing this $20 charge for a monthly.
Well, the $20 charge is if you went online and wanted to make your payment online, like a one-time payment. You wanted to make your payment online, and you know how all these credit card charges, right? But their charge is like $20 for that one-time kind of payment. And so we're talking to WEX about it. We don't know if they will change it, but we certainly raised the issue with them. But so the ways that you can pay, as Ms. Joanne stated, she sent in a check. That's one option. Then the other is what's called the ACH, where they're going to draft directly from your checking account. So those are the ways that you can actually pay.
And avoid the $20 if you do it those two ways.
Yes.
It just has to be a recurring payment, because I call.
It has to be a recurring payment, that's correct.
Bank account, to your credit card, as long as you set up a recurring payment.
Right.
They told me that there's no charge.
Right, and that's kind of like what's an ACH, right? You set it up to happen each month.
And then someone else told me if they did a money order, they wouldn't charge that either.
Yeah, so like paying by check, you shouldn't be charged. Correct. Thanks for that question, Richard.
Question in the back.
I'm sorry. Hi.
What about paying a year in advance,
That's the
the
problem.
entire year? You send them a check and then they take it, and you get nothing from them.
Well,
So you-
You should have a canceled check.
Sir,
You should have a canceled check,
I do have,
okay?
Yeah, so you won't get a receipt.
I know that, but see, they kept bugging me about payment. They sent me a 3-month deal, and because I was out of town, I was catching up. So I sent them the entire year's payment that they request, that is on each month. And in that way, it kind of killed the whole deal.
Okay.
I'm waiting for them to acknowledge the payment, which I have not received an acknowledgement yet.
Okay. Tell me your name, please.
Denise Sheffield.
Denise Sheffield. Ani, can we take a look to see what her record looks like? And then if we can print something out for her, let's do that, please. Let's make sure that she has the credit for each month. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Do you have other questions? So we want to really now talk about Medicare and how that works and how you coordinate with the plan that we have and what may be some other options for you. One other program that I want to tell you about, and we sent you some communication in the mail about it. It's called, the vendor is Tria, and they are considered a pharmacy advocate. So when you have lots of prescriptions or something that maybe Blue even says that they won't fill, this would be a great resource for you to use to talk through what you can possibly do, right? And so it's great when if you have, I don't mean that it's great if you have a chronic illness, but if you have an illness or whatever where you have to take lots of medications, this program will help you coordinate all of those prescriptions in an effective way. So I'm going to make sure you get a copy of this, okay?
And this company has pharmacists that work for them, so they're there to help you. They're not selling you anything. It's a free service that the city pays for. You know, one of the things that happens today is, you know, we've been to 2 or 3 different doctors, and we could be on 5 different medications. Well, we didn't realize that because we've seen 2 or 3 different doctors, some of those medications don't work together. So that's what they're really good at, is like, hey, give us your list, what are you taking? They'll actually reach out to your physician and recommend ideas, don't have to do any of it, but they're very good at being what we call pharmacy advocacy.
And we wanted to make this available to you, even if you are on the post-65 plan and don't have our pharmacy. We've still made this available to you, so we want you to utilize it because it is certainly a great service. So I want to turn it over to Gallagher because they want to talk a little bit about Medicare and how the program works with our plan, and I think it would be really helpful for you. So we're not going anywhere. We're here. We're going to stay after everything's over, too, to make sure we have everybody's name and information to answer any additional questions that you have. Is that okay? All right. Come on up, Kevin.
Thank you, Yvette. What we want to do here, and we've got a number of slides, but kind of re-educate you on how Medicare, obviously I think everybody knows how Medicare works, but there's a lot of good supplements out there. Also talk about how the city's plan works and the changes we made for January as far as what we call coordination of benefits. I think it's really critical to understand that. So with that, let's, if you don't mind running that. keep going, sorry. So everybody, I think, knows Part A covers hospital services. Part B covers basically physician outpatient service, things like that. I gather from a lot of folks in the crowd that you have not purchased a separate supplement. Most everybody just has A and B, and maybe you've gone and purchased Part D, which is a prescription piece, and then utilize the city as your secondary insurance, correct? Okay. All right, so I'm not going to spend much time here. Let's move forward, Susan. Yeah, I'm not going to spend much on Part D. Keep going. We'll come back to the enrollment periods. I think everybody's already enrolled. Keep going, one more. I think most everyone probably understands that these are the new deductibles limits for Medicare. Part A and B for 2025, but we put it in there anyway. This presentation is also going to be available to you all. So I'll keep moving if there's no questions, because I want to get to Part D. I think you all know how that works, and they've changed the out-of-pocket on that, which is a good thing. If you recall, it used to be $5,000, now it's down to $2,000. So anyway, let's move forward, Susan. All right, here's what we want to talk about. The city, the actuaries had looked at the numbers in '24 and, determined the premium that the city should be, allocating for retirees, and then accordingly adjusted the retiree monthly contribution. And then for '25, we had to update that number, which you see on the far right there. So if I'm a retiree only over age 65 and I'm in the gold plan, I'm paying $375 a month for that, secondary coverage for Blue Cross. Does everybody kind of follow that along there? This is just over 65. We're not talking any, I apologize. We kind of tailored this because there's been some misunderstanding, miscommunication over the years, I guess, for lack of a better term, about Medicare and how it intertwines with the plan. So I'm just speaking, but I'm happy to speak to the under age 65 group afterwards, or take questions later. So I think everyone knows or have seen a premium of what you're paying today. All right, so let's move forward, Susan, if you don't mind. Dental, dental's okay for right now. Let's worry about the, how Medicare, how the program's going to work today. I don't know if y'all can see this, if it's unfortunately a way to blow this up, but if you can see there, we did an example. So the Medicare column, oh, thank you. Okay. So if you all can see the top header there in blue, claim example, Medicare, and then it goes to bronze plan, $1,300 deductible. The bronze and gold are obviously Blue Cross plan. So the way the coordination works for 2025 is listed on this page. We've got another page behind it, but for right now, I'm going to walk through the Medicare column. So it's a $3,000 bill amount. $2,000 is eligible. And then as it drops down, you'll see there's a Medicare 2025 deductible line that shows $257, which you already know about that. Then your Part B piece kicks in for an 80/20 with a total out-of-pocket to you, the member, of $605.60. Well, the way the program works 2025 with Blue Cross is not going to reimburse any part of that $605.60 to you until you have met your total out-of-pocket in either the bronze plan or the gold plan. Does everybody kind of follow that? So it's almost, you've got two plans out here. Medicare, okay, I paid $605.60. Well, because I haven't met my out-of-pocket or possibly deductibles with Blue Cross, they're not going to reimburse anything on the secondary coverage piece. I'm going to have to meet that out of pocket. Does everybody understand that? Yes, sir.
Is Blue Cross ever going to send us a booklet out?
We're working on that. That's another thing that's been delayed. I just followed up on that yesterday.
Sorry, what
So
was the question?
Blue Cross is going to send a booklet out, and we do not have those. We have what we call a summary benefits of a coverage, which is a short, and I believe you got that during open enrollment. We also have, other material we can send you, but we don't have the actual full-blown certificate yet. I'm pushing on that. So,
Out of that, on that out-of-pocket, that 605,
yes, ma'am.
does that apply towards our deductible?
On the Blue Cross side?
Yes.
Yes, so you still get credit, okay, towards the Blue Cross deductible and out-of-pocket. What I'm trying to, a lot of people think, okay, I got secondary coverage. Well, Blue Cross should step in and cover part of that 605.60 or maybe reimburse me for the whole thing. They're not going to start doing that until you reach the out-of-pocket with Blue Cross. If you can see there, it's $6,000 in the bronze plan and $4,500 on the gold plan. And it's up towards the top there, if you can see that. So you've got to reach that out-of-pocket before you're going to get reimbursed what you're out-of-pocket on Medicare. Let's go to the second example. So this is probably a better example. This is an example of where you as the individual met the deductible. Okay, so you met the Blue Cross deductible, you met the Medicare deductible, and you come down the line on Medicare, you're out of pocket with the Medicare patient liabilities, $400. So then you apply that same expense to the bronze plan and the gold plan. And you come down, same math. So Blue Cross would have reimbursed its secondary payment $1,600, which leaves you $400. Well, they're not going to reimburse you because you haven't met your total out of pocket yet. You still owe something on Blue Cross. On the gold plan, since the gold plan has a 90% coinsurance, okay, you're actually going to get $200 from Blue Cross because of the coinsurance percentage being higher and the fact that they're reimbursing more than what Medicare did. So you're going to get $200 paid by Blue Cross towards that $400. So it's going to finally kick in and work as a secondary coverage. So I'll stop there. I know it's complicated, but I think it's critical to understand that the secondary process is working. It's working how the industry is supposed to make it work. I know in the past the city had a little different setup. So I'm going to stop there and ask questions if it makes sense. The bottom line is you've got to meet that $6,000 or $4,500 out of pocket if you're in the bronze or silver, gold, before you're really going to get reimbursed for your out of pocket expenses on Medicare. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. My husband still works, so we have insurance through him, through his work.
Okay.
Then the way I called Medicare to straighten things out because we've been to the doctor. So what they tell me is his is primary, Medicare's secondary, and then the cities would follow third in line of being paid. So what benefit do I receive by having the city's insurance as third?
You don't receive any. You should not.
That's actually a great question.
Yeah, it is a good question. Yeah. You want
Yeah, I don't know if there's any other questions about this, but I did want to speak up. Teacher, did you have anything?
I do.
Okay.
I still don't get it. So on the bronze, we have a $1,300 deductible,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
And a $6,000 out of pocket maximum. Total expense. So you have to meet your deductible, then it goes 80/20 up to $6,000. So copays, prescription copays, you don't have prescription, excuse me. All that counts towards the out of pocket.
So I guess I'm slow. 6,000 sounds like a deductible.
It works the same way, yeah. But we call the business.
Basically, $7,300.
No. The 1,300 is inside the 6,000. So, yeah. It's just a step of nothing's being reimbursed. Once you hit the 1,300, then you get you have a coinsurance percentage of 80/20. Plan pays 80, you pay 20, up to a total out of pocket, copays, deductible included of 6,000 for the year.
Yeah, so until you hit that out-of-pocket, Deidre, you're on that, it depends on if you're on bronze or gold. Say if you're on bronze and you haven't hit that out-of-pocket, but you've met your deductible, then you're paying 20% and our insurance is paying 80%, okay? Once you hit that total, unless I say something wrong, guys.
Nope, you're not.
Once you hit that out-of-pocket, it's gonna reimburse 100%.
So, but that's substantially less benefit than what we had under the old city plan.
It is. It's a change.
Because we didn't have an out-of-pocket.
You're correct. Yeah, the whole plan is to get this streamlined to where you're competitive benchmark with other employers. And that's why we went the path of Blue Cross. That's why we allowed everybody to go to other areas for medical coverage. But this was something that we had to get updated because Medicare is primary here. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say, for those that are under 65, like me, as a retiree, I haven't hit that 65 mark yet for Medicare, I don't qualify yet. I do have that out-of-pocket, I've always had that out-of-pocket as a city employee and as a retiree until I hit the 65, Deidre. So this is better reflection of how we treat every other employee out there.
So I know. So you remember when we were doing the open enrollment meetings and we were talking about, if you're buying a TV, you might wanna check with Walmart as well as Best Buy, right? You have to be a good consumer for your own funds, right, for your health care. So what we offer right now for post 65 may not be the optimal for you. So remember we talked about looking at Medicare supplements? This is where you might wanna take that into consideration because this plan that we have may cost you more. And
So, I mean, that's a great point, that kind of what Maria was asking. So guys, again, I'm a retiree, right? I'm pre-65, so I'm not hit Medicare yet. But what you need to look at is a choice, okay? You can choose to keep the city's insurance, okay? Or you can choose at Medicare, go out and look at your options, which for me, I'm gonna go out and look when I turn 65 and decide whether I need to keep the city's as supplemental or is there a less expensive option out there for me as a person. And I all along had thought, once I hit 65 and hit Medicare, I'm gonna go purchase that, I'm gonna drop the cities, okay? That was my plan all along. The only reason I would stay with the city is if that premium and the benefits were better than what I can find out on the open market. And I think for me personally, I can go out and find something better for me after I turn 65 than keeping the city as a supplemental. That's a choice that you have to look. That's why you have to be a shopper that Yvette was just talking about, okay? So the choices are out there. And if I were you, I'd take a good look at it.
You know, that, and I agree, I understand that. It's just, you know, kind of the talk and around is the city's trying to get rid of retirees.
No, you can
And
keep
this
this.
does.
Well, you can keep it if you want. This is not a plan to make you drop it, okay? First off, I'm here as an interim, right? I'm not here necessarily, I am representing the city at this moment, but I will be here probably through June 1st or May 1st. As I find a city manager for the council and they make that selection, then I move on. And I am back to being a Odessa retiree, okay? And so, believe me, I want what's best for you as a retiree, and I want what's best for me as a retiree, okay? Bottom line, because that's the rest of my life, right? So, again, my plan had been all along, because I knew the numbers and I knew what's out on the market. I think I'm gonna find something better as supplemental than what the city provides. That's just me. And you're looking at it too, you haven't turned 65 yet, but you ought to shop it, okay? And everybody in this room ought to shop it and do what's best for you. If you think keeping the city plan is best for you, then keep it. There's nobody pushing you off. But if you find something that's better, then do it, okay? Because that's money to your pocket. Okay? And I'll tell
Even
you,
before this change, if I could say something, the premiums were pretty high for what you all were paying. So I don't know if the math wasn't done or just was a feeling like, well, the city, provides this and we need to take it. But to Richard's point, we have a resource for you, and we would encourage everybody. No one's pushing you off, but we would encourage everyone to at least talk to our contact, who is a Medicare specialist, to give you an idea of what's out there. There's tons of supplements. I know Steve, other folks have supplements where they have no out-of-pocket. Now, it might not be priced right the way you want it. No one is kicking you off this plan. We just want to make sure everybody understands how it's going to work going forward. Because we're really trying to bring the plan to where it's competitive in the marketplace and how other employers are coordinating with retirees or active employees.
So, I would encourage you to look, to shop, and that may lead to other questions. Well, what happens if I switch? And am I penalized? The answer to that is no.
You can get back on?
Back on the city system?
Yeah.
No,
I
once you
know,
get
that's
off,
what I'm saying.
once you
You
get
get
off,
off, you can
but
never-
I'm telling you, I have a mother and a mother-in-law that have supplemental, plans, and they don't pay a thing. Mr. Thompson here spent how many days at the hospital in COVID?
59 days in ICU.
And what did you pay because you had supplemental? Okay. I'm sure you pay.
$3.
I'm sure you pay a premium like you do to us.
Yeah, I was just trying to look, because I'm older than most of you guys. But I've got A, B, and then D the prescriptions. And, 59 days in ICU, you can add in the bill is $575,000. Okay, I paid nothing. Zero. So I think seniors are a little bit afraid of the government, probably rightfully so. This is the side, no politics involved. But I was trying to look and see that I think I paid $289 a month for B, and then the drug card, and there's some great resources out there. The gentleman that I use in Dallas is an independent guy, but when Janice and I turned 65, he took her prescriptions, he took my prescriptions, and he goes to the marketplace and he finds what she's taken, a company called SilverScript. And I'm on Aetna, because the prices were better with the drugs I was taking versus the drugs she was taking. SilverScript is better, premium wise. But I don't think I'm paying anywhere near these kinds of prices. I should have looked it up for this week, just to give you guys an idea. But, and I don't mind sharing it with you, but, since I've been on Medicare, I've had a lot of, 5 years with a lot of, and I haven't paid dime.
So, are you still secondary at all with the city?
I'm not with, they're already on
Never with the city?
No,
But this is all,
If you choose to go buy a separate supplemental, you do not want to keep the city.
that's what I'm trying to get at. I didn't have, when I retired, and I sold my business to my son, I was gone. So I went on Medicare A, B, and D, bought those. And I never, besides the premiums I paid and the deductibles.
Yeah, we'd hate to get personal with it. I would love to hear what you're paying. First month.
Well, we're going to give you a contact in a minute, but can I just say something? Let's go back to the premium page real quick here. So, like I said, pointed out at the top there, if I'm a retiree only over age 65, we would encourage you to talk with, we've got a representative, but there's lots of folks out there, to look and see what, if I got a supplement that cost me $350 or something like that, but it gave me no out-of-pocket expense, well, that's going to be better than trying to wait on meeting the out-of-pocket with Blue Cross, or even frankly, the way the city did it before where they reimbursed you, for the deductible. I still think you came out probably a little bit short from if you just do the accounting of 12 months of premium. So that's all we're saying is nobody's trying to push anybody off. The plan's still there, but we set the coordination with Blue Cross up to be competitive with the market.
And there are supplemental plans that can include your Part D. There are quite a few options out there, but it is complicated. We get it. So We're gonna share a contact. I'm going to set up, if you all want, I'll set up a session where you can, she can share all of this information with you and kind of help you. Then there's also local resources that we could possibly bring in to help, provide you with additional information, because it is about making an informed choice. We don't want you stepping out there, thinking that the grass is greener on the other side and you don't have all of your information. We wanna make sure you have that. And so we're willing to do that, and we can talk about that a little bit later. I'm sorry, somebody had a question on me?
Okay, if you're on Medicare, you have to go to a specialist, like in Dallas. It's my understanding Medicare is gonna pay first, cause they're our primary, and then Blue Cross Blue Shield will pick up, they're gonna be secondary, and we've gotta meet the $1,300 first.
And the out-of-pocket, the out-of-pocket.
Okay, how's this gonna, how are they gonna pay on a
Supplemental.
specialist?
On a supplemental or the city?
It's with the city, with the Blue Cross Blue Shield. Is that, I guess it's still with the city, or is it Blue Cross Blue Shield?
No, it's, so we're self-funded, meaning that we're really paying the money out. We've contracted with Blue Cross Blue Shield to process the payments and the.
And why
handle all of
did
the
we have to do all this?
No.
Start with.
There's no difference.
That's a good question, it's fair, but us, processing claims in-house, it just became too,
It was
a
going
little
real
too,
smooth.
it was but it's a little complicated, because the rules around benefits is always changing and is very complicated. And for us, with our small group of people trying to keep up with that, we just can't do it. In order for us to be able to make sure we're processing claims according to regulations, we needed to get with someone that could help us do that.
But to answer your question on the specialist, there should be no difference.
There's no difference.
Okay. As far as what Blue Cross Blue Shield will pay or what you pay. Okay.
I think we did have differences though under the old.
Under the old.
I think that's what maybe she's
Yeah,
thinking.
because that specialist in the old plan could have been out of network.
Yeah.
That's not the case anymore, that's the reason why we contracted with Blue Cross.
Yeah.
We wanted to have access to specialist cross-section.
We wanted to put a machine behind the services that are being provided. That can do it much faster, easier than we can, so.
Let me just,
So why do you-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'd just like to share, I've had city insurance since 1956. First through my husband, and then I went to work for the city, and then through me. I dropped the city insurance, I kept the devil, and I went out and I got a supplement. And that supplement, I can tell you, is costing me $180-something a month is what it's costing me. Which
An
is less.
individual for us is like $240, is that right?
No,
No,
370,
357.
375 and 32.
And I think I am penalized
Did I have my glasses
because I'm
on?
91 years old and I have cancer.
No,
I could have probably got, I had found a gentleman to help me, and I could have probably got a.
245 bronze
pie.
pie.
You mentioned pacemaker, and
that was
they,
gold,
you know,
375.
you think you're really, really sick.
So 245
I'm not. I like to say I'm 91.
You was great too. Thank you for sharing that.
I mean, that's,
I'd just like to make one other comment about the Blue Cross thing. From the council perspective, we didn't have a network other than what was right here in Odessa. They're called single case agreements. One with medical center, one with women's or ORMC. Richard, being a retiree at Cedar Creek, he had to go out of network every time he went to the doctor. So he paid more than he should have had to pay because there was no network outside of the city. So by tapping into Blue Cross's network, something that would have cost, if you just went straight to the doctor, would have cost $1,000 with Blue Cross, might only cost $500. From the city's perspective, because we are self-funded, the plan runs about $10 million, okay? And if we apply, and let's just say Blue Cross has 50% discounts everywhere, which in some cases they're a lot deeper than that, then we cut the spend for the city from $10 million to $5 million, which means we can do a lot of other things with that money. Does that make
So
sense?
take for example, Richard, so if he were to have surgery where he lived on the foolishness around here, basically. And unless Richard called us to say, I just received a $25,000 bill, am I supposed to pay this? What in the world, right? Unless he called us and said that, we wouldn't even be able to help him. Like, so when we have those kind of scenarios, we would then get on the phone with that particular hospital and say, hey, are you willing to negotiate the price with us? So we would have to do that with each individual person, each individual case. So what we've done with Blue Cross Blue Shield, which what the councilman was speaking to, is that we've opened that network up so that you can go about anywhere and get the care that you need at reasonable negotiated costs.
I had 2 surgeries at MD Anderson last year under the city's insurance, and all I paid between Medicare and city insurance was $330.
We pick up a lot of
That's
costs.
because
And we-
Medicare covered that.
Medicare coverage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
but-
not all of it. You know, there's, the city covered the rest of it. I didn't have to pay,
And
you know,
MD
I
Anderson
understand.
was one of our negotiated.
Yeah,
They're
it
not
was.
in
That was a
the
single case
network. I
agreement.
thought it was
It's
50%,
agreement.
they would pay 50% out of it. Right?
So, yeah, I mean, we've had the city insurance for a long time, right? I've had it, worked here for 20 years and have been gone for 8, so I've had it for 28 years. I'm comfortable with it. I know it changes from time to time, but I'm comfortable with it. So when I turned 65, I said I'm gonna have that choice, and I can go with comfort. I mean, I know that price, I know it might change, or I can go shopping. And my plan was to go shopping. If I can find something better, like you did, $180, then I'm gonna do it. And that's the choice that all of you have. And we just wanna make sure that you know you have that choice, okay? That's it. And we also wanted to answer all your questions.
So this lady's name, address, and an email address and number, she's our Medicare specialist at Gallagher. She is phenomenal. She knows every inch of Medicare supplements. I would encourage you to call her. Just talk to her. Just, hey, what would my options be if I was to go to a supplement and this supplement paid 100% of all my Medicare bills? Something in that nature. You know, she can give you lots of different options, but again, if she gives you options, you know, you need to stay on the plan until you decide that you need to step off at the right effective date, and I would contact, you know, Yvette or contact us to make sure that transition works out well. Because we don't want anybody to walk out of here and say, well, I'm canceling this, because that's a big mistake, because then you could have penalties with Medicare. We do not want that to happen. And again, we're okay if you stay on the city's plan. That's not an issue. We just want you to be educated. Jen is phenomenal. She's actually from Lubbock, lived in Lubbock. She now lives in Florida, but she responds, she's quick.
She doesn't mind us 50 people calling.
You know what? We refer so many folks to her, and she's, you know, it might take her 24 hours to respond to you, but she really is very much a mother hen and holds everyone's hands. And I'll tell you, this Medicare stuff is very complicated, even for me being in the business as long as I have. I got to think about it. But I think we just want to get this information out there to you all so you can make choices and you're better educated.
And I will get contact with her to see if I can set up a session for you. I'll get that.
Thank you for that, Yvette. Yeah, we're gonna set up a webinar, I apologize.
Yeah.
And she's not the only source.
Yes, that's correct.
Yvette can also set up something here locally if you don't want to make that call. So, and there are lots of different sources.
So I want to interrupt 1 second. I do want to caution you, you probably have heard this term Medicare Advantage. Okay, those are cheaper supplements, but they push you towards like a smaller network, like the city kind of had, which operates a little bit more like an HMO. There's many people across the country that are in those Medicare Advantage plans. I would not recommend a Medicare Advantage plan for West Texas, although, you know, they've got a lot of physicians and hospitals in there. just be aware that if someone says, oh, you need to be in a Medicare Advantage, look at other options.
Well, I have found that like our specialty doctors, some of them will not take that Medicare Advantage.
That's correct. Thank you for saying that. It's a smaller network.
Yes.
It's cheaper price, but some people get, starry-eyed over the price and then don't realize, well, none of the specialists take it in Odessa.
Yeah, because if you want to stay with the doctors you actually want, if you get
That's correct.
that, they won't take it.
Yeah, so that's the Advantage plan.
Yeah.
There are other supplemental plans, and that's where you shop, okay? But Kevin's just giving you a heads up, if it says Advantage, you're looking at an HMO type plan, okay?
I've got a question. I'm probably one of the younger retirees, but I noticed that once we retire, they cut our vision. Is there anything out there that helps support vision?
Did we ever have it?
Not on an individual basis.
I don't think we've ever had it.
No, and you know what, to be honest with you, vision's not a good buy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, it's not you pay $1 for the premium, you don't get $1 back. You might get maybe 25 cents back, 30 cents, just because obviously everybody gets, has glasses, contacts. Yeah, if you want something that Polo or whatever brand you're buying, it's gonna be expensive, So, I mean, I wish I'm being honest with you, and I'm in business, it's just, but everybody has it, you're right, but there's not an individual market for vision plans.
So this room, there's a meeting here at 3 o'clock. But if you need to talk to us, Richard, can we move into?
Yes, absolutely.
Conference room? So we'll go over to the conference room, and if you have additional questions, we need to get additional information from you. Please make sure you take a badge.